All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 4:31. Chris was on and then she went, we lost her.
Okay. She'll be back.
Yeah.
Is it 4:31? Yes, let me make a note. Okay.
Okay. Oh, she's on phone. Hey, Chris, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't have, something's going on with my audio on my computer. It won't let me talk and it won't let me hear you.
Well, that's not good with a select board meeting coming up.
No, it's not. And it's because I ran a town meeting last night on my computer and I can't figure out how to reset it back to my own settings.
Oh.
Do you have a Mac?
No, I don't have a Mac.
Okay. Because I can walk you through that. Maybe April can tell you.
Yeah.
Is it like getting out of Zoom? Is that what you think?
Switching back to Chris's account or?
Yeah.
Switch back somehow. I out of my account to get into the town account.
Right.
Anyway, I won't hold you up. That's what I've got to do is figure out somehow.
Yeah, you have to sign out of the other account, so.
Well, even if you do, Janet, my computer doesn't do that, so I have to physically go into Zoom and then log in as myself under my own password, and then it self-corrects, but it's an extra step.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
I'll just listen.
All right. So open time for the public. Is there anybody that has anything to bring to the Board of Assessors? Okay, no public present, with the exception of Dave. Dave, do you have anything you need to say?
Nothing I need to say right now.
Okay. All right, moving on. We have the minutes of March 23rd, a regular meeting, and then March 29th, a special meeting. So let's take the 23rd first. Do I hear a motion on those?
I make a motion to accept the March 23rd minutes.
I'll second that.
Do you have any discussion? Any corrections or anything that anybody saw?
Nope.
Thanks, Chris.
Not for me.
So, did we hear somebody? Was that a small voice?
It's a kitty cat, it sounds like, I think.
That was my cat objecting. I'll quiet her now.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor of the March 23rd minutes?
Kane, aye.
Gasparini, aye.
West, aye. And moving on to the special meeting that we had on March 29th, may I have a motion on those minutes?
I make a motion to accept the March 29th minutes.
I'll second that. And if Martha can make sure I captured what she was saying correctly with the list and stuff, hopefully. Did that look accurate to you, Martha?
What, the list?
The cost of the list, did I capture that correctly? The $10 was $10. We're recommending 25.
The butter list.
The abutters list.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
And then-
yes.
Great, thank you. I just want to, I think I have a good memory until I have to sit down and write it out.
Can I make one quick comment about that?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a mention that I was going to check in on the fee list or something at some point about the abutters list.
The bylaws.
Yeah.
Bylaws. I looked in the bylaws. All there is in the bylaws would be the fee schedule for the Conservation Commission that I've found. And then on our town website, under the select board, I believe, page, there is a fee schedule for various other things, but I'm not seeing the abutters list listed as a thing to be paid for on anything I looked at under the building commissioner, under assessor, under any place I went on our website. So I guess I'm asking, where do they live now?
Where
Public.
what?
Where does the abutters list fee live now? If you said it was $10, where is that
Where's
sitting?
it posted?
Fee
Yeah, I have no idea. That's just, I mean, there's always a fee for an abutters list. So that's what I don't know. I came in and that was the fee.
Not on
And
your,
then
so I don't know. It's not under finance. It's not under building. I looked every planning board. I looked everywhere and I didn't find it even listed among all the other things that we get a fee for, like the building inspector and all those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe in minutes somewhere years and years ago. Ed was going to look into if that needs to be voted on at town meeting. Because he just sent the email that we need the articles
Right.
by May.
I-
So
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised if it would be a town meeting thing. I think it can be, some of these fees can be adjusted by the select board, I think, but I guess it all depends. If there hasn't been one publicly known about, we might have to start from scratch on that.
But I'm not sure how the select board would be involved because Martha reports to the Board of Assessors. So that's a little different reporting structure. So I don't even know if that's the right avenue. I don't object to that by any means, but I think,
No, just saying, I'm thinking at certain fees, the select board can approve without having to go to town meeting is my point.
I see.
But I'm which ones those might be. So, I don't know. But just to say, I looked and I could not find any reference to it anywhere in our public documentation on our website. So I'm not sure, or the bylaws.
Chris, did you come across the Board of Health fees in any of those things?
Did I? I'm not sure that I did either.
They have a number of fees, and I know with trucking companies, they introduced fees for those folks in the last, I don't know, 5 or so years.
Right.
So I don't know if that's an internal Board of Health managed thing, like this is an I'm just posing that as a similar
Right.
organization that.
Yeah, I can take a look while we're talking now. I just wanted to, that I hadn't found it.
And Martha, maybe if you get a chance to just ask Jerry what their process was when they introduced or increased fees. I don't know if that might give you some, whether it would seem to be a similar process, but that's just my opinion.
yeah, I will check in with her. Yeah, it'd be nice, the
They may be posted somewhere.
least obstacles.
Board of Health does have a fee schedule on their sheet. Yes, they do, on their webpage.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
it's all the restaurant inspections. I did see this, I'm sorry. The restaurant inspections, the hauling permit for the truckers, the disposal system, the fee, the perk test for the fee, that's all on the Board of Health webpage, yes.
So we would, if Jerry said they just had to approve it internally through the Board of Health, then we just need to post. Is there any other fees, Martha, that you deal with, or just the abutters list?
Just the abutters list.
That would be a short fee schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Chris,
Okay,
for looking at all those places. Appreciate the work. Okay, any other discussion on the March 29th meeting minutes? May I have a vote?
Kane, aye.
Gasparini, aye.
West, aye. Great, thank you. Martha, our principal assessor update. How are you doing?
Good. So I don't know if we want to wait until after. I have one thing to bring up. If we want to dive into what I found for research for the property on Sarah, if you want to do that now, or we can put that off. something I do need to bring up.
Why don't we go to the new business, and then we're going to try to
Okay.
discuss what we've tabled a couple of times without addresses or names for what you found for your research.
So for new business, it's not really that new. I've kind of been putting it off just because I don't have a lot of experience with valuation of utility companies. It's a lot of money, but it's way beyond my experience and knowledge. So NStar Electric Company filed an abatement for their value. And this is something that's been going on for years and years and years. Roy is the one that I refer to. He handles this for other communities, and he would go to the ATB for us. So he's not really sure what to do, and I'll try to explain it as best I can. So the utility companies used to get away with their net book value as the assessment. They have been brought in front of the appellate tax board, or they've been denied, and then they have appealed their denial with, there's a Springfield and Boston both denied, and they have many more resources than we do. And so the ATB found that the net book value is not the appropriate way to value utility companies, because our job is for full fair cash value, and that does not give the communities full fair cash value.
So what was
So I asked,
Martha, just go back. I'm sorry. Net what value?
so they go by net book value.
Value. Okay. I just was having a blank there for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's the original cost of the assets minus depreciation. Now they are asking for a 50-50. And I just attended a meeting about it. So it's 50% replacement cost, 50% net book value. I asked Roy what it is, what should we do? And he said we can just deny it and then wait and see what happens from there. I don't believe any of us have any kind of to grant it. So the amount they were assessed was $9,048,020. They believe their value should be $7,752,423,100. Yeah. Every community is having this issue. This isn't just us. So I'm going to forward you some PowerPoints just for you guys to review for a little background on the one is from the meeting from March 22nd, and one is about market value for utility properties. I can't find the date, but it goes over what net book value is, and I think it's fairly recent. It's from the Lincoln Institute of Land Policy. So we have until April 27th. So not looking for a decision, but this is something that is in front of us. And I really have no idea. Most communities rely on their vendors, their consultants to do this work.
That was going to be my question. How did we base our value on 9 million?
It's the figure when Roy enters the form of list from the utility companies.
So the figure is kind of like a factor that is in the Vision software that gives a value?
To be honest, I'm not really sure.
So,
They have all the, they have to send in the form of lists. They have to send in the 38F request for additional information. We are really dependent on our vendors for this. So I apologize that I just don't have much more to offer when it comes to this.
I would say before we need to vote on this, I remember, I don't even think I was on the board yet, but down at the park meeting, Roy had talked about this briefly.
It's something.
So maybe he could join us on a meeting so we can ask questions of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
so Martha, what is our valuation?
$9,048,020.
Okay. And that's for the utility poles, the lines, the transformers, all of the things that go along with the delivery of their service in Southampton, correct?
Electric utility, personal property, including but not limited to poles, underground conduits, wires, pipes, and machinery.
Okay.
And typically, they've always just told us what the value is, and that's what we would plug in. Now we're kind of in a bind because we can't just take what they're telling us because they're being undervalued.
Because of the previous decisions from the ATB.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, didn't the previous decisions rule in favor of the towns?
This is where it gets confusing that the ATB they have ruled in the town's favor
By denying the abatements for the utilities, right?
Utility. So if a utility company appeals asserting net book value, assessors should respond by holding utility to its burden of proof. Bring a motion for summary judgment using Mass Electric Company, the Commissioner of Revenue, Mass ATB findings in fact, asserting that the courts and the ATB rulings have operated by the recognition of special circumstances. As a matter of law, to shift the burden of proof onto the taxpayer, summary judgment is a mechanism to test the sufficiency of utilities, evidence of value, opportunity to resolve case without going through a lengthy trial.
How did it rule for Boston and Springfield?
Firmly adopted, established by most cities and towns. I write my notes so fast. I try to capture everything that they're saying. Department is pushing assessors in towns to get away from net book value.
I would think, so maybe we'll have Roy back. He would probably be able to tell us, how they ruled in those two towns. And, if they're ruling in the favor of the towns, then I think that just kind of would go to show more so that the town's values.
Yeah, they ruled in their favor, but I don't know why why that didn't stop it. And what they mentioned was the issue is more of a political issue than that it needs to be done maybe through legislature. Yeah, I'm sorry. I will send these off to you to look over, and I will get in touch with Roy to hopefully shed some light on this.
Is this something that Lindsay could shed some light on? Lindsay Sabadosa, as our if it's supposed to be legislated, is that something that she's involved in? Do you know? Or
I don't know if she's involved in this.
Yeah.
Dave, have you heard anything on this, Dave?
I have, if it's appropriate. I don't want to speak if I'm not supposed to, but I would suggest executive session because there are a lot of factors that are involved.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we're in the abatement woods again.
Yeah. Martha, can you find out what Roy's schedule is like and, see if he has time that sort of coincides with our next meeting that is before the 27th? And how much time do we have to, our next meeting normally would be Tuesday, April 20th at 4:30. So is that enough time for us to make a decision in the executive session during that meeting with Roy's help and then get whatever we need to get done back to wherever this needs to go?
I will get in touch with him tomorrow, so I'll know. Yeah,
Because we can always do another executive session next week if we have to, if we can find a time that's available for everybody, if that doesn't give us enough time.
Right.
Well, and we could always address that other issue too.
During that next executive session?
yeah, I'd really like to wrap that up.
Yeah. I think, Ken, if we just listen to a little bit of your research, without names or addresses or anything. So,
Or even your thoughts based on your research, what your new recommendation too. So I think we should table this discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, we were forewarned when we saw Roy last fall, so it's here, and now we get to learn more good stuff. Yeah.
Get smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully if we see the PowerPoint, I won't get cross-eyed and glazed over too much trying to read it and understand it. So
yeah. All right. So Martha, why don't you give us sort of a summary on how many other parcels you have found in your research where there are easements involved, but not
statements attached.
a discounted situation.
How about the abutter?
Okay. Yeah.
They don't have a discount?
No,
Oh, they have an easement, but no discount.
they have a larger easement and they have a smaller piece of property and there's a house. So it's not just vacant land.
Okay. And I know that this has come up before because we're going to have a meeting with one of our residents when we do start meeting in person again. So it's something that we probably need to have at least have some parcels and map and parcel situations so we know, for this upcoming meeting as well, what's fair and equitable for everybody in town.
Yeah.
So we have
No, I'm sorry.
So we have some examples of to stay fair and equitable for everybody in town.
Yes, I did some reports seeing where properties were discounted in the first prime lot.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know if some of the second lots, but Caitlin Way has a bunch of conservation lands and.
Okay.
But are there any on the primary lot?
There's 25 parcels that have the primary lot. Cottage Ave. I'm not quite sure why the notes just say location. So it could be because those were all just camps. So they're really they're all grandfathered in. So that could be why. They're small parcels. It's trying to figure out the notes that previous assessors wrote, like access. I don't know what does that mean? I guess you can access it. A topo adjustment. One frontage lot condition and adjustment. Severe flooding, I get what that means. And I know the house. Some have no notes. So I don't really want to take the adjustment off. It must be there for a reason, but if previous assessors didn't note why they've adjusted, I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do about it. I don't know if Dave has any input on, to be fair and equitable, which is my main goal, my job. Yeah, it's kind of a difficult spot if I don't have a lot of information.
Was that a question to Dave, or was Dave?
I'm just not sure how much, to say.
In my experience, I do see a lot of notes that people don't understand on property record cards, and it's because of a changeover of vendors, a changeover of assessors and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think moving forward, my suggestion is a set of consistent guidelines that you have in your office that is followed by anybody who goes out in the field so that everybody understands it.
Yeah.
And I think right now, my suggestion is to just, as you go, start to clean up those so that everybody knows it, because it gets kind of messy. And I've seen it all over. It's not just Southampton. I've seen it all over where it gets messy and people don't understand it.
Yeah, it's always been my goal to try and, it's a rabbit hole I end up going down. I look for one thing and I try to create these reports so I can smooth out all the rough edges. And the next thing you know, I'm in my files looking for anything that might be from way back. And I guess it's just really hard because I have someone here 2 days a week and I'm not, but it's all these rabbit holes I go down, but I'm not complaining. It's just hard to focus on things, and it's easy right now because we're not open to the public. But Janine's great and she loves doing research. But this is dealing with the landlines and going into, that's not something she does. So if there was a easier way to go about this, I am open for suggestions.
Could we just like set forth the rather than what was done in the past that may not have been done correctly, we're from this point on, we're being fair and equitable moving forward. Because if you, I don't know, if we're trying to justify what happened before, we may not be fair and equitable to people now. But if we have a clear policy of this is what we feel, and start setting precedent from here forward.
Or even from when Martha started, and so your time has been consistent, and
Yeah.
starting at this moment, go back to Martha's beginning as principal assessor and making choices, and because your guidelines have been pretty fair and equitable and consistent, and
Yeah, I try to keep things as others have done. And there's, we're talking the majority of the properties, I think, are in line with every other parcel. There's little pockets, like front foot is kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure how that was done prior. I talked with Roy about maybe getting rid of it. So some people who would have front foot and some people don't, but that was actually a lot of money that we would have lost, but that has to be consistent. It's frustrating because you're trying to figure out what somebody else did before. And if you change one parcel, now you've made that where it should be, but now you have all these other parcels. And because this is mass appraisal, it's hard to do things. And I'm not an expert in vision to know how you can just make an across the board change without going into every individual parcel, because that's very time consuming to have to adjust every parcel.
We have consulting services with them that they could maybe answer that question and assist you with that vision.
Yeah, but I think every parcel is also different. So like all wetlands, all land that is landlocked, I mean, that's easy. Land that is unbuildable because it's wet, but it has frontage. Every parcel is somewhat unique unless you have like a development. But when we start going out on Crooked Ledge and we go out on Foamer and we go out to where topography is at play and wetlands is at play and parcels that are along Red Brook and the Manhand, that's not something you can just sweep with a broad brush and make that change.
Would we, but for moving forward from here, just as the people try, file an abatement, that's when you would make the changes or deny the changes from here forward, versus trying to make a blanket, like, nobody with wetlands gets, an abatement, or, because I get it. If there's wetlands or there was an easement that caused frontage to not be a buildable lot, then yeah, that should be discounted. But if somebody has a lot and they have their house on it, it's functioning as a lot, it, you know, its value, once the house is up, it's the value is there. It's not, you know, like a lot that can't be built on or.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, I think it would be hard to do it across the board, but as the abatements come in, we just, this is our policy as far as discounting first lots. If a house is there or can be built on it, then it really shouldn't be devalued.
Yeah. Abatements is great because you have the opportunity to have the property right in front of you. You can inspect the property. Cyclical inspections when you can actually get in, building permits, mostly interior building permits. So you're actually in the house. Once I get my camera, it's my goal to, I'm going to walk and update our pictures. And it's just a lot easier when you're not sitting in your car. I think you draw less attention, not like I'm trying to be stealthy, but you can take your time to see things. And if there's something that jumps up, then you can just knock on the door. So yeah, when you actually have your hands on the property, you can make those changes right then. I guess I'm overwhelmed before I've even started the process.
Well, and that's why I was kind of thinking if, like, you know, during the cyclical, I can't talk, inspections, that's when we have the opportunity to correct the mistakes from the past. Or like you said, when there's a new permit or something, that's when you can maybe correct things that were done wrong before, or I shouldn't say wrong, but not consistent with the way we are moving forward. So you don't, you know, it's not going to, shouldn't be a huge burden on you to go find everything. We just, this is how we're moving forward. And then as these ones that have been in the past, maybe not done how we're planning on having it, are equitable, you know, so it's equitable in the future. We can correct those things from the past at that point, rather than saying, okay, now we need to correct everything, because that's what the cyclical inspections are for, correct?
Yeah.
To catch things.
Yes. I mean, land is supposed to be, it's mostly for the houses, but land is supposed to be inspected. And just things to keep in mind. I have my little to-do list, things, you know, to go over front foot. I'd love to inspect chapter land, vacant land, to make sure that our buildable potentially and unbuildable are all on the same page. So that's my to-do list. And yeah. Nobody's saying anything.
We're taking it all in.
We're all writing madly for our notes. Yes, I think on a day like today, if I were in your position, Martha, I'd like to be out making visits as well. So the camera situation, the battery did not work? Are we getting a new camera?
I did purchase a new camera for under $200,
Okay.
just under. Yeah, the charger didn't work, and I bought a battery and that didn't work. So Ed's returning the charger for me. The battery I bought myself. That's, so yeah, I'm a little disappointed. It must be the camera.
Well, we got a new one coming. Yay. So, yep. So I think what I would like to hear from you is whether or not you recommend or not the application that we have been talking about, because I know you want that off your plate. So do you recommend or not recommend an abatement?
I recommend not.
Okay. So with that recommendation in mind, may I have a motion to deny the abatement that has been previously discussed in executive session?
So move to not approve or deny, I should say, deny the abatement application for the property discussed in executive session.
Second.
Okay. Let's take a vote. Do we need any other discussion? Okay, so all those in favor of denying the application?
Gain, aye.
Gasparini, aye.
Best aye.
And the other one that April and Darcy drove by, you were good with that, correct?
Correct.
Leaving it as it was?
We need to take a formal vote on that, correct? I don't know if we did last time.
I don't think so. It was discussed separately.
Okay.
And then you
Oh,
took,
right.
yeah, you took your drive-bys.
Okay. So, Darcy, you remember which parcel that was, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. So I was doing my classes over the weekend, and it did have a section that said it was at the discretion of the assessor if you want to combine properties, that it didn't have to be, the deeds didn't have to be combined. So it was at the assessor's, just, I knew we had had that discussion, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Where did you hear that?
It was in the modules I was taking. You know, you have to do all the modules. So in there, it had that it was at the discretion of the assessor.
Okay. Because I know, I mean, it makes sense that you can't build on that back parcel. So it can only exist together. They can't be separate and built on. And I believe I came across another parcel, which of course the house was put on the road frontage, and it's a landlocked piece that actually contained the house, and you can't access the house unless you have the driveway going and this part. Okay. I think it's the end of the day. I can't form my thoughts. So there's a parcel that has the driveway, and the separate landlocked parcel has the house. Somebody had put them flip-flop because you can't have a house on a landlocked piece of land. The only way you can get to that is by having this parcel. So it was, I think they should be joined, because you can't sell that parcel off because you can't, the front parcel with frontage, because then you can't access the house, and he owns them all. So that to me makes sense, because you can't, I don't think you can build on it, because it has a driveway and a big barn. So it makes sense to join them, because they can't exist without each other. Yes?
So maybe in both those cases, those two parcels can get joined together, and we have one tax bill rather than two tax bills?
Yes.
And Darcy, what module was that? Do you remember?
I can look. Right.
This was also an abatement?
It was on how you taxed properties. I believe it might have been module 1, and it was on how you taxed, like, you know, you tax the person that owns the property as of January 1, and then, you know, that whole module, and it was in there that it said that it would be at the discretion, you know, of the Board of Assessors. I mean, not the Board of Assessors, the assessor, it's at their discretion to join, and then the deeds didn't have to be joined for you to be able to join the parcels.
Tax bill, okay. Huh,
I would like to maybe start thinking of different policies for this office as far as what would be required for those instances. Those are a little different, but if somebody has 2 buildable lots, and they want to join them because they want to save money, and that lot now becomes just its side yard, that we require them to have a survey, or that we actually have a policy, because if they then decide they want to split it and sell it off, we can't just keep flipping back and forth.
right, right.
These are different situations, but in that case, I know some towns require them to have a plan drawn up merging the properties. I thought just having the description on one deed was enough, but it could be the policy of the office, a plan, a deed.
Yeah.
So that's to be another thing to be discussed. Start thinking of actual office policies going forward, so we are consistent with everything, and we're giving out the same information to everyone.
Right.
I know, I think we started that back in the chapter with the letter and everything, but we just went beyond that. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, I dealt with that once in Southwick, with a grandfathered building lot that had always had a separate tax bill. When the buyer bought the house and wanted the additional land, with the understanding that they couldn't go back and separate it out again, they hired a surveyor and they redid the deed and recorded a new survey. And so that it was no longer a grandfathered building lot. And so that, it makes sense what you're saying, Martha.
So what do we need to do with this lot, though, I guess, and what do we need to vote on?
Well, I think Martha was just coming up with another situation or scenario where we start making some policies that will be followed, as these situations come up.
No, I understand, but there's an outstanding situation, right, that you drove by and we're talking about property. So what is the current one that needs to be voted on, I guess, to
well, that was an abatement application. It's 2 parcels, very small parcels out by the pond.
Right.
One has a house. They wanted it described as an outbuilding, and it was gutted. It had nothing in it, and the property line actually falls on the house. It doesn't have, you can't use it as a house because the septic won't hold it, and you can't put another septic system in to have more bedrooms. So it can't exist on its own.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a separate lot, but it should be joined.
So what do we need? What motion do we need to move forward on this one, I guess is my question.
This one is just to approve the abatement.
Okay.
Request. Okay.
So would it be to join the lots and approve the abatement, or just to approve the abatement would be the vote?
Just to approve the abatement.
Okay.
Because the second lot, I guess I'm just going through my notes to make, we can approve the abatement. I don't have to get into a lot of detail from a confidentiality standpoint, but it's not.
A separate issue at another time, or would be to join the lots.
Okay.
But that's not the issue for the abatement. That was just lowering the value.
So the lowering of the value is based on it not being.
It's not a house.
Okay.
It can't be used as a house.
So when they gutted that house, then added the new septic for the front front parcel or the front house, they put a new septic on that old house's lot. So that's how they made it all one. So it's not vacant land. It now has the septic for the house that is not gutted.
Is that correct, Michael?
I think so.
I think that's what I remember.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry agrees that it should not be a separate lot.
Right.
It should be merged.
Okay.
So do we,
So, on Martha's recommendation, did we have a motion?
oh, I keep trying to figure out what the motion would be, but I mean,
So,
that's
So
why.
I'll make a motion to approve the abatement.
yes, and I'll second that. Do we have any other discussion on that one? All right, all in favor of approving that abatement request? West, aye.
Gasparini, aye.
Janet, are you all set there?
We just approved the second abatement. That's really all I can
Yeah.
detail and for confidential reasons anyway.
Yeah, okay. All right, going back. Martha, do you have anything else?
Don't.
Okay. On to next old business is the PCF form that we had approved and signed and gotten off to PPPB like instructed. I got an email this morning that we read the exempt chart backwards. So the grades go across the top and the steps go up the left-hand side from 1 to whatever it is, 13. So the hourly rate that we had voted on is inaccurate. So we have to revisit that, and the sooner the better on that. Janet, do you have that chart to pull up? If I email you what Robin emailed me this morning, can you pull up the chart?
I can probably find the chart if I can remember which.
Yeah, I'm going to email it to you. I'll just forward it to you.
Is it the exempt chart that we were looking at? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
So I can.
She said that she had gone over this with you.
She mentioned it because when I went to grade the next one, and it was a grade 16 originally, I just asked her a question, how there is no grade 16. So this is the chart, April?
Yes.
Yes, yep. So we should be looking at the top 12 and then doing a step on the side there up to step 13, which is not where it's much lower. The highest is much lower than what we had.
Then I would not agree with the scoring then.
And what do we do with that?
I mean, we would have to put Martha at the grade step 13
Yeah,
to be anywhere close to being competitive. And
yeah.
unless they're updating the charts and then it has to go to the finance committee, I'm assuming, in the select board for final approval. So, I mean, I know this is for July, so we have some time.
But we really don't, because there are several. anyways, I think we're up against deadlines, which makes this harder and a lot more frustrating.
We've submitted our budget already, correct? So,
Yeah, so we've got to go back and update that. And we have to get in front of finance and because we have an interim accountant, I left a message for Ed today and emailed him asking for some guidance because finance tells me that the interim accountant cannot sign whatever form we end up with, and that the PPPB has to sign off, the chair has to sign off on our PCF form, and that we read this exempt wage scale incorrectly because the non-exempt is the opposite way than the exempt.
so can I just make a statement? We did not read it wrong.
Yeah.
When it was scored, that we followed the directions that we were given at the time.
Yeah.
We did not read it wrong. So,
Can I ask a quick question? I'm probably going to have to scoot out because of my other meeting. But
yeah.
That's all right.
if I get this chart briefly, so what you're saying now is that the grades go across the top from 11 to 20,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then down on the left column, those are your steps.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
I have never seen a scale that goes up to grade 20 in my life, but okay.
Well, I called Ed because I wanted this verified.
Yeah.
This is coming from the PPPB, and if we're looking at two different charts that were put out at the same time, a non-exempt and an exempt, why aren't they read the same way?
I think they are read the same way. I think that the grades 1 to 10, I think, go across the top of the non-exempt chart.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
I mean, I didn't hear that they weren't read the same way.
Yeah, I got that this morning, so that's why we're talking about it, because
I mean, I understood why the interim accountant said because it's for next year's budget and we don't have next year's budget, she can't approve something that hasn't been approved by finance yet. Otherwise she's signing other PCFs for this year. Did you send that to me, April, or?
what Robin sent?
Yeah.
It was to the Board of Assessor. And I got that.
I got
And
it.
it was also to you guys.
It probably went to my spam then. For some reason, it still goes to my.
It only came through on my personal. It did not. Darcy, did you get it?
I did get it. I'm just going to send it back out.
I can go to spam, but it'll take a while for my spam to upload.
I'm sending it out, Darcy.
Oh, I just hit it. Sorry.
That's all right. It's hey.
But if
Take it back.
if I get it twice, I'll probably.
Okay. Faster fingers. Oh no, it's not this one. It's one that came directly to me today. So let me just forward that.
Which one? Now I don't know which one should, because I did get the one that was sent to
the Board of Assessors. Yeah.
The one I sent was the one that says hi, Martha, your position was rescored at.
No, I didn't see that.
That was the one I just sent.
Okay, let me go back to because I don't even have it in my spam. If it came in today, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday at 6:37.
Okay.
Guys, sorry, I'm going to have to leave you. So apologies. Hope you can figure out whichever ends up on this. But I guess I would just recommend that it sounds like you've got to redo the PCF. Is that what I'm understanding? As well as re-verify whether the scoring, whatever, rating is what you had intended.
Right.
But we will have another select board meeting in 2 weeks' time and maybe an interim between, who knows? But hopefully you could get it before us at that point in time. Okay.
That's the plan. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, and I think, to the extent that you can at least alert the finance committee of any possible change, I mean, at least by email or something, I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is that Ken is on the PPPB, so he should at least hopefully be part of this email
Right.
Yeah.
somewhere, but I can't, I mean, it comes from the PPPB mailbox, but I'm not sure it goes to all their board members or not, so.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys. Thanks.
Bye, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
So I just forwarded her email. I guess she sent it last night after I went to bed at like 9:36 about reading this exempt wage scale.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. I don't know what to do. You just sent that, okay.
Yeah. So we probably need to have an interim meeting but finance is meeting on the 12th. What day is that? That doesn't give us much time here. So that's next Monday. To be able to sort this out.
I'm free next Monday.
I appear to be free next Monday after 9. You're talking about during the day, or are you talking about evening? Are you want me to stop sharing this, or?
I mean, looking at it, we want to be up at 13 if this is in fact the correct way to read the scale, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Darcy, you feeling that way too?
Yeah. I think, we, like you said, we need to clarify where we're at.
Okay.
I know in the email she had said that
Go ahead.
they were increasing it 2% since the last increase. I don't even know when was the last increase, because this scale is saying 2016, but then it says 4/7/2017. So would we adjust those numbers up to reflect that?
I don't think that we can adjust those numbers up. I think that's what the PPBB is working on. Am I correct in that, Janet? That they are working on a new wage scale?
Well, and then it has to go through, I would assume, to finance and they're personnel policies and procedures are. So, but they did upgrade it, but I don't know where it goes from there.
Okay.
So Martha was a 10 in the non-exempt. So
Right.
she certainly, with the scoring, didn't make great strides. And that's why I don't know what to.
Right.
So, but she was a grade 10. She was
it was 8.
grade 10. Was it an 8?
I could be wrong. That's what they wanted all our information. I put that I was an 8.
So if you were a grade 8, then there isn't even a grade 8 on the top. So I think we need clarification on the scale.
Yeah, there's a grade.
There is.
But it's still, I don't know why they feel it's read any differently, because this would be steps 1 through, or grades 1 through 10, and then the exempt one would start at 11 through whatever, 19 or whatever it was.
I have a different scale in front of me that Robin sent.
Okay.
I'm gonna send this right now, because this is the one that I have in front of me from the email, and it's different than this one that's up.
Okay. That's the one I have had, but could be another one, so that's fine. Can you want to share that, Darcy? Can you just share it?
Yeah, I can if I can figure out how to share. Oh, share content.
Okay, so down at the, it says share screen or whatever, because what do you have, an iPad?
Okay, yeah, I see screen. So I have to pull it up on my screen first, correct?
Because the one Robin just sent us exempt ones. She didn't send us a non-exempt, did she?
Yeah, so I'm just
Got a
pulling it up right now.
Okay.
So,
I don't know. I'm so confused at this point.
so I have it up now, screen.
So it's open and you have to share.
Screen broadcast. Start broadcast. Let's see if this works. So I'm sharing screen.
Did you
All
select?
right, so I hit select and it looks like it's doing something, but it's not quite showing it yet.
I may have to shut down video and meet you upstairs. Oh, why am I at the bottom down here? Am I on the screen twice? Oh, here we go.
Do you got it?
This is exempt. I was showing non-exempt before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Sorry then.
Yep, nope, that's right.
So this was the one that she sent, so then maybe it's just a misunderstanding, because that was in the latest email from Robin.
Yeah, it's the same one that I had before, the exempt one. It's
Right.
Okay.
I have no idea where I am.
So I will get some concrete clarification and then let everybody know with an email, how to read it. Do we want to meet on Monday before the finance, or I would prefer either meeting Monday in the morning so that I can try to get signatures before the finance meeting, or meet later on this week.
But my understanding is if you're not going to get a signature from the accountant to approve that the funds are available, then nobody else is going to sign it. I'm confused.
Is that a catch-22?
It's a very frustrating situation because we already asked whether the finance had to sign this, and we were told no, because that was waived because the finance committee wasn't very active, and so that they made new policy, and now that's not correct.
Well, it's not that the finance, because it's next year's budget and they're working on next year's budget. It's the accountant that hasn't signed it, and that's because.
Well, it's more than that, because finance should have signed off on this, or at least, from what I understand, finance should have been included in the mix.
I don't disagree with that.
You don't? Okay.
I don't disagree with that. No, I don't disagree with that. Yes.
So in the instructions given with the PCF, there's no place for them to be included in the mix. So,
right.
Anyway, and the accountant I understand where the accountant's coming from, and the accountant who is an interim can't sign next year's budget anyways because of, I don't know, they're not elected or they're not appointed. So
they were given the authority to sign PCFs.
Right.
For this year's budget, for this current budget, and other things that this year printing.
They were given.
Yes, but it's that's what I saw at a select board meeting that I watched.
Okay. So Ken Cole said that because this affects next year's budget, the interim does not have the authority to sign. So, anyways.
Did she?
What do you guys think? Should we meet Monday morning? Should we meet Thursday at some point? Darcy, what's your day look like on Thursday? Janet, what does your day look like on Thursday?
This Thursday?
Yeah. Janet, you're muted.
We can't meet Thursday unless it's after 5:40 because we have to have 48 hours to post a meeting.
Ah,
So
Do you want to plan on Monday morning?
yeah, okay. So Janet, Darcy, what time works for you?
Was Janet said after 9, so do you want to say 9:30 or 10?
I mean, 9:05 is fine, so whatever, 9:01 is fine, or 9 o'clock is fine, so.
Martha, it's a Monday. So if you want to be part of this, we should give you a little bit of time to get in and get up and running. So.
I'm here at 8:30, so.
Okay. Why don't we say 9:30 Monday? And I will spend the remaining hours of this week trying to get it sorted out between the different departments and what I have to do.
So Monday at 9:30, and I'll post something.
Okay.
Anything else on the agenda besides Martha?
Do we want to go into executive session on that? No, we won't have time to get in touch with Roy. So, all right. So we're going to see if Roy is available for Tuesday, the 20th.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there a particular time?
Well, let's plan on the 4:30 time, and a regular meeting time,
Okay.
and see what his availability is, and we could open the meeting, have open time for the public, and then go directly into executive session, so that we can deal with abatement questions, and then we can open it back up again to a regular meeting. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a lot of signatures too.
Okay. So we'll stop in. Janet, do you have time to stop in tomorrow and sign a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I'll be in fairly early in the morning before I head to Palmer to show my first house.
Like what time? I have to go see Boyle's first house on Pomeroy at 9:30.
Oh,
Will you be here before that?
no, I'll come after I'm done in Palmer. How's that?
Okay. Sorry.
Later in the day. That's all right.
So you'll be back later morning, Martha, then?
Yeah, I'll just be on Pomeroy.
Okay.
So are you seeing the duplexes?
Yeah, the first one, 55.
I want to go see that. Darcy, you want to go see that? I want to go see that.
I am booked solid tomorrow, unfortunately. But I'm free Thursday. I can stop in Martha and sign Thursday
Okay.
morning.
Yeah.
Are you going to take pictures, Martha?
I will take pictures, of course.
Thank you. Been very curious as I go back and forth. So that'll be fun to see.
Well, I haven't heard, are they condexes or they're listed as 2 families on the building permit?
Well, keep us posted. That's been my question. So,
I believe somebody was purchasing one.
Yeah.
Yep.
purchasing it a two family or
A single unit.
Yep. So let me just, because I know I apologize for getting up and down. I'm trying to keep people at bay here, four-legged people. So 9:30 a.m. on the 12th, correct?
correct.
Yes.
And then I know we'll talk about the next meeting, but that's the following Tuesday. Stop.
Yeah. And then 14 for a regular meeting, but we're going to see if Roy can join us, and we'll go after open time for the public right into executive session.
So we'll open the meeting, do open time, and then, okay.
Yep. Okay. All right, I have nothing to report on open space, and Chris is gone. So is there any other old or new business that we need to attend to? All right, guys, thank you very much. Like to have a motion to adjourn at 5:47.
So move.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry, Darcy, I beat you.
No, that's okay.
Bye.
Bye,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I'll keep everybody in the loop in terms of what I find out by email. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Procedures. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.